In this video, we are taking on Dungeon Noob P and Soda Man L. And actually, this was a clip that I had from quite a while back. Although now since the game is down, what I'm doing is just using clips and just uploading them on YouTube. And this was one that I found and figured would be interesting to put out. So we're doing this with Lychee09, aka Bounty, and in my opinion, he's probably the best battler in the Project Uranium scene, and we did battle earlier, and I recommend you check that video out if you have not already. The link will be above, but that's that. So anyways, he starts off with his Greninja, which is I guess a good lead because that's like what he uses to set up spikes. I go into Medicham, I put Chandelure in there, and I also put Tyranitar, as I figured you may as well use your Mega when you have one. And with Chandelure and Tyranitar, well, I wanted to try out Tyranitar. There's not really much of a reason behind Chandelure, but I like Chandelure, so I put it in there for the sake of that. So anyways, unfortunately for us, they start off with a very bad lead in the sense of Medicham, because they have two ghost types, and we can't use our high jump kick, and neither do we take good damage because they're both going to hit us super effectively. And the good thing though, when you start off with a psychic type and a dark type, you get to cover the weaknesses pretty well. The dark type covers my weaknesses, whereas if if the opponent had fighting types, then we'd be able to hit them back super effectively. So that's good synergy, although it did not work out for us there. So I decided to switch into Tyranitar because Tyranitar is a complete wall, and I want to test out just how bulky it is against the likes of two Shadow Balls from a Skeledirge and a Gengar. So he goes for his Shadow Ball, which does 0 damage. Like that's absolutely no damage. There's no boost or nothing. And Skeledirge goes for a Shadow Ball itself, which does 0 damage, like literally nothing. And that is it's so amazing to me just how bulky Tyranitar is. And you have to account for the factors that go into that, including its Assault Vest and its Sandstorm, because Sandstorm boosts the defense or special defenses of rock types by I think like 1.5 times, along with the Assault Vest boost. So it gets really bulky, especially if you're running EVs in special defense and HP. So that's that. And even if you don't have especially defensive or even just PvP setup, if you're just running Assault Vest and Sandstorm, it's still going to be incredibly bulky. So anyways, he goes for a Flamethrower, and unluckily for us, we get burnt. So our Pursuit does very minimal damage, and we went for Pursuit there because I didn't think that either of them will want to stay in when we have two Dark types out here against two Ghost types. So I thought somebody would switch, and I figured Gengar would be the best Pokemon to Pursuit, since it's the most frail one there, so it would take the most damage. But that's unfortunate. So he goes into Primarina next, and I decided to go for an Earthquake here, and I stay in because we will most likely take both hits pretty well, since Tyranitar is just that specially bulky. And he goes for his Moonblast, which is his most powerful attack, and you can just see, even though that is super effective, coming from pretty good special attack, it still did barely any damage to Tyranitar, which is just so amazing. It's just that bulky. And unfortunately though, our attack is really bad though because of the burn, and it actually does embarrassing damage to the Skeledirge. I actually expected much better from that, but it is what it is. That's just basically a standard Earthquake if you account for the burn and super effective damage, and it did nothing to the Skeledirge and the Primarina. So that is the sacrifice you have to make if you want to get a lot of bulk on it. You lose a lot more attack unless you're running like I guess if you wanted to do like a half HP or half special defense and half attack, maybe that's different, but that's that. So anyways, I go for the Crunch on the Skeledirge because I didn't think that Earthquake would really help out too much, especially because it's hitting Kangaskhan, and it isn't really doing that much additional damage to the Primarina. So at least with Crunch I get a direct and I guess an effective hit too at that. So he goes for the Fake Out, which is great because it really shuts down the Primarina, and then when we go for a Crunch, we are able to dispatch the Skeledirge. And I will say though, like really, Kangaskhan, you never ever see it in the breakdown scene, but it is one of the most OP Pokemon you can use. Like it's in Ubers for a reason, because it's just so difficult to counter. And you see a lot more Pokemon like Mega Salamence, Mega Lucario. You just never see Mega Kangaskhan. I guess because not many people really know or care about it. It doesn't look cool, and its stats don't look good on paper. You just have to see what the ability can do when you actually, you know, pull it out, actually put it to use. So anyways, I switch out here into Medicham because I figured, you know, Tyranitar is just gonna do nothing, so I may as well get into Medicham and do some crazy good damage. So we do manage to successfully get into Medicham, although it does not take the bite too well, at least compared to what I was expecting it to do, especially with all the investment in IVs. But you know, it is what it is. So anyways, I decided to go for the fake out on the Snorlax because, you know, I figured we may as well remove that from the game, although it probably would have been wiser to just go for the high jump kick on the Mightyena, really looking back at it. But I don't know, I decided to just go for the fake out here because, you know, we may as well just shut down that Snorlax. He goes into Incineroar, Lychee. I guess that's to get the Intimidate to really nerf down the opposing Pokemon. So of course I get my Mega Evolution, which is sweet. I really just love how shiny Mega Medicham looks. Like the combination of this nice sky blue with the gold and a bright yellow, it looks so, I guess, luxurious in a sense, and I like that. It's not what you would think, but that's how I see it. So, you know, that's that. So anyways, I go for the high jump kick because we may as well destroy this Mightyena. Like, what's the point of keeping it in? And he goes down. He actually, one thing I did notice just now, it's actually a shiny Mightyena, which is pretty cool. In my opinion, it actually has a nice shiny with the strong blue eyes and the golden coat. You really don't see it that much, but you know, it's an interesting Pokemon in my opinion. I wish it had better stats, but you know, that's that. So anyways, he goes into Ampharos, which is unfortunately his last Pokemon, and there is no way this Ampharos is going to survive a high jump kick. So yeah, that is GG, and that was of course a good game.